Oh, look, Monkey's here. Hi, Monkey. Monkey, 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 monkey.
He
Monkey
ran up
just
at
got
the
up from a
last
nap.
second and wanted up. So there he is.
Aw. Hello, Monkey. Hello, Monkey. Well, everybody, thank you very much for joining us today. This is, Tarot the Stashway, the ethics of reading, or readings, whatever. And this is the lovely Purple Elephant Deb H. So thank you for joining me.
Oh, thank you for inviting me for this fascinating discussion.
Well, it's that sounds so good. This fascinating discussion. Well, there you go.
It is fascinating.
It is fascinating, especially because I've been doing research for this. And I think the important thing is that everybody knows that this is a respectful conversation, and it's a conversation that people have had online, they've had in books.
Yes.
And I want to encourage people to consider thinking about this for themselves. It may or may not be important to you. And if it is, great. If it's not, okay. But I was throwing Deb under the bus. I said, this was your idea. And this came up in a conversation, well, in the chat, but also in a conversation about the idea of understanding our boundaries.
Yes.
And Medium Betsy Palmer and I have actually done a laugh and learn about boundaries.
Yes.
Find it on the channel. So, can you explain a little bit about what you're thinking? Because I was the one who spun it to ethics.
Well, at first there was the discussion about boundaries, and I think appropriate questions came in with the boundaries. And that sort of led as a logical conclusion to a discussion on ethics, because it kind of ties everything together with a little bow. And it's like summarizes what each one of us what is acceptable to each one of us.
And I think that's a really important thing, because ethics are based upon the individual and if they're working in a specific environment.
Yes.
So Deb and I are going to do our best to catch all of the chat, because chat here is wonderful. Everybody is so good at that. And if we miss somebody or a question, my apologies. I have 3 pages of notes, and there may end up being a part 2 to this. So everybody, do that thing so you can like and subscribe, etc. Here you go. Like and subscribe. It's free, and you'll be notified when it comes. And this is for, here you go. This is for entertainment purposes only, and it's for inspirational and educational purposes only. Do not make decisions based on what we say. Seek professional assistance, really. So.
And I might add that could be considered an ethical statement.
Yes. That's part of why I do it, because people who are interacting with me, they're going to experience me in a certain way, and I experience them in a certain way, and I have some personal things that I always try to do, but I'm only an option, and I'm only sharing a bit more information. So, all right, shall we say hi to a bunch of people?
Yes.
Hi, a bunch of people. No. Jezree is here. Medium Betsy Palmer is here, and lovely Medium Betsy Palmer and I are doing readings tomorrow. And for those of you in the UK, we sprang forward, so it's an hour earlier. So be ready for that. Lisa Rhodes, Scott, Robin, Toadstool Tarot. Is it ethical to bounce a monkey on your knee while doing a reading? Very possibly.
It could be.
Yes. Lady Knight of Avalon is here. Maria, I'm going to be on her show on Sunday. Hypnocity. Jackie Jacaranda, hello. Deanne, Blue Crescent Tarot. And Jane the Seeker is here. And Jane the Seeker is hosting me tomorrow for Tuesdays with Tarot Stash, exclusively on Jane the Seeker at 9:15 Eastern.
And I might be awake, I hope.
You might. Oh, wow.
I might.
Okay. All right. Betsy is very excited. Jane says, hello, everyone. Mary Loudon is here, or Loden, hello. Plucky Heroine, hello. Thank you, Jackie. Got that.
Thank you, Jackie.
Is it, hey, you two, is it ethical to have your hair look better than the folks you're reading for? It's just style choices.
Never tell.
Yeah. Linda is here. Linda, Sheila, Inquisitive Tarot. Hello, Sheila. Good to see you. Scorpio Mama. Hello. And okay. Love that, Gerald. It is great. Some people think that it is a definite answer and that they also don't consider free will. We're going to talk about free will.
We are.
Tara, Your Way is here. Hello, Thomas. Good to see you. And Sheila is attempting to eat a late lunch. So, and people are loving your hair color.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, and Lisa Rhodes said, all East Coaster, please prepare for a major storm coming. Great.
Yes, be safe.
That was exciting, wasn't it? So,
yes,
right.
It was.
All right, so everybody, please like and subscribe to Deb's channel, linked below, and it's been put in there. So, so ethics and boundaries and that sort of thing. Anything you want to start off with? Because I blame you.
Okay.
Not really. You inspired me. So
okay, that's very, very tactful, Gerald.
Okay, so I think it's okay. So I'm going to do that. You know, after all, this is Tarot the Stash Way. I'm going to do that thing that I usually do. Is I'm going to reference some books. These are there are great resources available. I encourage you to go find them. There are some videos out there that have been created by fabulous people who are extremely articulate. The first time I got introduced to ethics was in the Robin Wood Tarot, the book. She has a section about ethics in here, and it's very much written like Robin Wood talks in the rest of the book. And so there's a resource there. Benabel Wynn's Holistic Tarot has a whole chapter on ethics, and also a future topic is inappropriate questions.
Yes,
because those things go hand in hand.
They do.
So yeah, and so I will reference some of these.
Just as when you think of ethics for yourself, think of what's acceptable to me.
Yes. That's a great way that's a very simplified version of it. So, Sheila.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's why you're here, Deb. Ethics are so important with this work. Yes, they are.
Yes.
Jules Niner is here. Hello.
Did you get Spiritual Rain? Spiritual Rain is here.
Oh, hello. Hi, Rain. Yeah, it's a good topic. I think everybody, um, which is why everyone should really consider. Oh, and Sheila said one of my jobs with ethics for work. Yeah. Um, and Jane the Seeker said, which is why I don't do third party readings. Karen Johnson is here. Hello, Karen.
Hi, Karen.
This book I was recently introduced to, Jenna Matlin, Will You Give Me a Reading? And what you need to read tarot with confidence. And while it doesn't have a section that says specifically ethics, it has a section about honoring boundaries.
Yes.
And boundaries,
which is very similar.
They are very, very similar. And I also have this book by Mary K. Greer, and I'm looking through the spiral, see if I can see. But one of the things is that I'm going to read this, is readings help you deal with suffering by giving it meaning and purpose. Spinoza in Ethics said, emotion, which is suffering, ceases to be suffering as soon as we form a clear and precise picture of it. Tarot reveals the big picture. It empowers you to reap something good from all experiences, even negative ones.
Yeah.
And that's that's something that I like to think about when I am doing readings. I consider that this is providing information. So
yeah. And these are possible outcomes.
Yes.
We are not telling anyone this will absolutely happen. These are possible outcomes following the energy right now.
Yes. Yeah. Jane is doing a reading. So
yes.
And so, okay, so I wanted to give this. Here's a definition of ethic, or ethics. It's a noun. The plural noun is ethics. Moral principles that govern a person's behavior or the conducting of an activity. And that is from Oxford Languages and Google.
Yes.
And I think, what do you think about that?
I think that is a basic meaning. So that's taking all of our experience and the moral principles from that experience, and then telling us what behavior is acceptable for not only ourselves, but what we accept in others. So if we don't, for instance, if we don't want to spread gossip, then we don't hang out with people that spread gossip. So that would be, just as a basic example. So if someone's participating in a behavior that's not acceptable to us, we might be acquainted with them, but we might not bring them into our close circle of friends.
Of course. Yeah. I did see Kelly Dozen Cats Wellness is here. I may be on Kelly's channel on Friday.
Cool.
So stay tuned. And so this definition, it's just a sense of what are ethics, and there are a lot of websites. Okay, let me slow down a second, because part of what's challenging is really when it comes to tarot or oracle readings, there isn't an overseeing body of conduct. Like, I'm thinking of like the American Medical Association, the Bar Association, which oversees and monitors ethical behaviors. But there are, when I was searching, there are good resources out there that have examples of ethics related to doing readings, and many types of organizations that, if you do continuing education to broaden your perspective, if you're going to be certified in a particular type of reading, there may be ethics for you to agree to. And if there are, that's great. If there aren't, maybe there should be some.
Yes.
Um, so, okay, so we talked about why talking about ethics just keeps us safe. It keeps us in line with our values.
And that's something else that I do as myself, and I'm confident that you also do, is try to provide a safe place for the free exchange of ideas without judgment. So if we do that, we might disagree on some ethical things.
Mm-hmm.
So we also might want to learn to respect other people's.
Right. Yes. Well, and here's the thing, Deb. You and I may have different ethics,
Mm-hmm.
and that's okay because
Yeah.
my ethics are mine, your ethics are yours.
Yes.
It does not make one right and the other one wrong. It just means
No.
they are different.
Yes.
They are what guides my behavior, not yours. And
Exactly.
so, yeah.
And we shouldn't look at someone, we shouldn't play the comparison game. So if we don't want to compare ourselves to someone else, and that includes their ethical boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
but we do want to respect each other enough to allow for differences of
Oh,
opinions, of
yeah.
boundaries, of ethics,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
that we can't learn and grow if we don't have respectful conversations.
And I think this is, which is exactly what we're doing. We're having a respectful conversation, and I hope you in the chat will join us in that. And
They have been.
afterwards, if you're watching it, they have been.
Yes.
And so I think it's important that, you know, when I first did went and got tarot readings from people that I didn't know, to be honest with you, I did a little interview. Tell me about this person. You know, tell me about yourself. When did you learn? Because at that time I was in human resources and I was absolutely curious
Yes.
because this person I'm giving money to freely. And it's important. So, all right. So I've been starring some great comments. So, let me just get caught up.
Good. Good.
And Lisa is here. Hello, Lisa. It's also the appearance of impropriety. Yes. I'm trying to make sure that my fingers don't time anybody out. So, Michelle Marie is here. Astrological Tarot. Hello. Hypnocity said, I see tarot as a tool, a way to choose a course of action. Yes. And my chat just way jumped. So apologies. And okay, I'm just getting caught up. These are great. So let me get caught up, and then I see a lot of people making great comments, and so I'm going to star all of these, and then talk a little bit, and then go back. So so there we go. You all are great. I love this. And Lisa got your comment done, and okay. Okay. Robin says, I tend to apply the golden rule. Don't read for others what you wouldn't read for you. So, hi, Kristen Louise. And okay.
Thank you, Sherry. Sherry's here.
Okay. Hi, Sherry. Okay. So, okay, I'm never going to get caught up in all of these. I mean, but this is great. So, so, and I think, you know, one of the things that Deb and I were talking about is, it's like, why do we talk about ethics? So, I mean, I think it's important to talk about ethics to keep us safe and to keep us respectful of each other and
Yes.
people for whom we're reading.
Yes. And so each of us has types of readings we don't do.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, I don't generally do political readings. I don't do third party readings. I can sometimes reframe a question so that
Sure.
it becomes about the querent instead of the third party. So,
Yes.
and also knowing who you're reading for.
Yes.
So if they
Yes.
ask a medical question and you tell them you can't, okay, if somebody asks a third party medical question and you tell them that you might want to reframe the question, or that I can tell you about how it affects you spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
You can
Yeah.
sometimes compromise and reframe the question in a form that you are okay talking about it with. So go ahead.
No, and I would say that doesn't sound like compromise. It sounds like you understanding what you will and will not do so that you
Right,
can help somebody. And
right.
that's the thing. People, code of ethics, a mission statement, those are all types of things. Places that we've worked have had those, or they should, so that you know how to make these decisions. So,
Yes. And that people ask questions generally not only out of curiosity, but they want to be comforted. They want to
oh
know
yeah,
what
yeah,
to expect. So if we are aware of their motivation, then we can reframe a question so that it meets both of our ethics, and then
yeah.
be able to
Mhm.
comfort the questioner.
Right, right. And I think it's important to take time to talk about ethics and to know what questions that you will answer, what you won't answer, because it guides your behavior in your interactions with people. And Deb and I were both talking is this, if it feels uncomfortable to you, not just in a way as I've never done this before, but if it just feels wrong, then it probably is for you.
Right.
And so don't do it. Is part of how we think about it. Now, again, you do you, your ethics. But I think it's important to think about ethics when we're not meeting a code of ethics. It's like, how do you, so it's important to talk about this when there's not any difficulty.
Yes.
And these are your guiding principles. This is your true north. This is what helps you.
I
So,
would suggest too that be upfront. So the first time, for instance, that you're meeting someone that's going to read for you, or that you are going to read for someone, the first time you're meeting,
hmm.
have that short conversation.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean,
And
and yeah.
do it before
Hmm.
there's a question.
Well, yes, yes. Okay. I'm going to. Okay. Sherry loves your haircut. Just got, and so yeah. Okay. Say what you want. Okay. Sorry, chat jumped. And
It,
what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to capture the comments because they help illustrate the points that Deb and I hope to have conversations around. So if I've missed anybody, my apologies. There may be a part two to this conversation. So, so be aware of that. Pierrette is here. Hello. Andrea is here. Did I see Andrea? I saw
you
Andrea.
did. His life is
And
also here.
okay, and okay, so I am okay, so okay, wow, you all are great. Pia's life, hello, Pia, good to see you. Thank you, Sheila. Andrea, that's a good question. I have it starred. Um, Okay. So, all right. So I want to, and I will be honest with you. The way going to a reader of any kind is a choice,
Yes.
and you pick the reader that you like.
Yeah.
Someone who works with you, somebody whose energy provides you what you need. And I think that's very important because there are so many different readers out there.
Yeah.
You're going to find somebody who's going to help you.
And we all have different gifts too. I've been
Yes.
noticing we all have different gifts. We all have things that we're better at than others.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So take that into consideration too. If you want a reader that has a specific gift in a specific area, then seek out someone who does that. Don't expect
Absolutely.
everybody to be able to have all of the clairs and do all of the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, this book by Benabel Wynn, Holistic Tarot, has some really good things that made me think and helped me think. Because, and actually, her chapter starts with something in Latin that I'm not going to be able to pronounce, but it looks like this. You can't see it. It's basically first, do no harm. Do no harm.
Okay,
And I think
that's the medical creed. It's first do
yeah,
no harm.
yeah. And for me, that's very important because I never want somebody to I would not want to do any harm.
Me either.
And so and as people who do readings, this is a practice, this is a profession, this is a side gig, it's a habit,
Yes.
it's an addiction, whatever you want to call it. A challenge is do you continue to learn? Do you challenge yourself? Are you open to learning things, or is your way that you learned how to do it 20 years ago the only way you're going to do it? Now, Deb and I
And
have,
if as you learn and grow, your ethics will change.
boom, there you said it. She said it. And I agree with you. And if you're not periodically thinking about what you do and how you operate, um, consider that because I am not the same person that I was last year at this time.
None
And
of us are.
therein, well, I would hope. And so I'm willing to have a conversation about that. I'm willing to have a conversation about that. And one of the things that is said in here, and these are my guiding principles in the sense that I appreciate what Benabel is saying here, is tarot. Tarot for me is a way to get more information,
Yes.
to broaden my understanding, to see things differently. And I love this on page 562. The last sentence of the second full paragraph says, the tarot should only be used to complement current professional care. I love that. I mean,
Yes.
it's like, boom. It just is so, it, and I love it because for me, and this is Gerald, I want to have a holistic approach to my overall well-being and healing. And
Yes.
sometimes that's tarot, sometimes it's taking vitamins, sometimes it's going to the gym, sometimes it's going to a psychologist. So there you go. So, all right. There is beautiful chat going on.
There is.
Yeah. And Sheila said it's mine too. Never wish harm on anyone. It's the Hippocratic Oath. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, and most of us do have something in our About You section. So, and so I also think, oh, Donna is here, Artist and Oracles. Hello. Do no harm, focus on helping your client. And I have to say that help can look differently for each person. So
Absolutely.
I'm going to put this down because there's so many good stuff in here, so much good stuff. And
Robin said, I don't claim to be a psychic, but I think most folks come into a reading expecting that. And so that's when you have your first initial meeting, you have that discussion.
yes. Well,
This
and
is
that's
what I do. Yes.
yeah, that's an interesting thing because Jeffrey and I were talking about this last night, and in one of Rachel Pollack's books, she said people mistake tarot readers for psychics. Some are, and some are not. They are not the same. And so I think an important thing to remember is that tarot really doesn't do predictive readings
Right.
well. So I try to avoid that because, again, simply by asking the question, the energy around it is different.
Yes.
So,
And we are really, with cards, reading energy. So if we
yes,
read the energy and the energy is fluid and it's changing, then we are not going to get a definitive answer.
yes. Um, Richie is here, Longman Tarot, who next Monday is the Longstash Ostara readings. So, okay, so, all right. I don't have mediumship or channeling abilities. I just read the cards. And I think it's one of those things that, Jenna Matlin says it really nicely in the book, Will You Give Me a Reading? # not endorsed. But she actually says things to think about is you are not responsible for, common boundaries for tarot readers. You are not obliged to tell people you even read tarot, even if they ask. Prove yourself for past test. Read for someone just because they know you read tarot. Be available for reading. Read for exposure. Fix someone's problems. Be 100% accurate or 100% clear. Change your reading or add to a reading to please a client. Think about these things. Very, very important thing. So I did see Peter J. Watts come in. Hi, Peter. And okay, got that, Andrea. Okay, and then I want to go. There's Peter.
Did you see Genealogy Junkie came in too?
Carol is here. Hi, Carol.
Yes, she is.
Okay, guess what I have? I have 29 things starred.
So they are. This is a discussion that it seems that people want to have this discussion, and I think that is a good thing. The more we talk about it, and the more open we are, the more we can avoid bad things happening.
Sure. Well, and we can make sure that what we're doing is lines up with what we do. So.
And also, if we think about it beforehand, then when somebody comes up and asks us that question that we're not just not comfortable answering, but that it's wrong, it feels wrong to us, that we have something to say. We know what we can tell them. Yes. And whether or not we can work with them if they if they're genuinely needing some help.
Yes, and I think something, Deb, you and I talked when we first started talking about this. One of the things that I wrote down is it's like, why do I read? Why do I want to do this? You need to get clarity about why you read. Do you want to help people? Do you want to be famous? Do you want to have 5,000 followers, 1 million followers on YouTube? Do you want to make a living at this? All of those are acceptable answers. You just have to be honest with yourself and know that that's what you're wanting to do.
And then be honest with your clientele.
Absolutely.
That,
absolutely.
I'm really trying to do this for a career. So, be honest with them if that's your aim. Mm-hmm. I just want to help people and I'm not interested in making money. let them know that whatever it is that's your motivation,
Yes.
make sure that everyone, that we're open about it.
Yes. And I think it's a really helpful thing when somebody asks me what I do, or if I'm at a store and I'm doing readings, I need to be able to articulate what it is that I do clearly and what someone would expect from visiting me and spending some time with me.
Yeah.
And it's really important to have clarity about what are the cost of services.
Yes.
And say that up front, because you
Up
don't
front
want
and
somebody's.
above board. And if
Yep.
there are other things that, for instance, if you have other services available, let them know that. And let them
Yes.
know clearly
Yes.
what, if there's a charge for that.
Yep.
And if none of us on our channels, none of us that have channels will do this. If someone approaches you and says they are one of us, anyone in the community, and says, you know, you have a curse and I can help you lift it, don't answer them. They are not us. They are pretending to be us so they can take your money.
Yes. And you want to have an open mind, but you don't want your head open so much that your brain falls out.
Yes.
Because pay attention, look at things. There are scammers everywhere. So I think it's really very important. Peter said, as a non-reader but a close observer, all of you who have accepted the responsibility of connecting a querent with their guides is too important to be laissez-faire. Oh, thank you. Anyone asking for a reading is searching for something.
Absolutely.
And that's something that is really important. And I've seen it in all 4 of these books. There's references to it. Is someone who is asking for a reading is already vulnerable. They want something.
Yes.
Very rarely do people come for just having a 6-month checkup. Wouldn't that be nice? I mean, I got a bit of a snort.
Yes, you did get a snort.
come to, and I go to my doctor regularly for, I call them well baby visits, because I want to stay this way. So, it's one way. So, by the way, Gerald, your vehicle's extended warranty is about to expire. I know you've been trying to reach me for months.
I know.
Months. Yeah. And people are vulnerable. And I think for me, how I respond to someone's vulnerability and their struggle truly shows how I am as a human being.
It does.
If I can help you and hold space and meet you where they are, then I do it. And then the other thing is, Deb, is the intent and the impact are very different.
Yes.
I've had experiences where my intent was to be very helpful. It did not come across that way. And when I found that out, I was so sorry that happened.
That's the thing too. You don't know with what perception what you're saying will be received.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we have to be very careful of how we phrase what we're saying.
Yes. And Richie said, I read for others because I have a ridiculously enormous amount of tarot cards, and my husband says he'll chuck them away if I don't use them. I mean, and he's going to keep the crystals. Peter would never do that. Oh, yeah. Hypnocity said, I'd love a monthly appointment with somebody.
Yes.
I like to keep my readings short. I don't want to tell anyone how to live their lives. Not my business. Exactly.
And someone mentioned that some readers feel like they're lecturing.
Oh, yeah. And that's a challenge. That is
It is a challenge. And if that's the kind of reader you're looking for, that's fine. But if it's not, then just move on. You don't have to make a big deal about it. If
Yes.
it's not your cup of tea, just go to the next channel.
Yes. And you don't have to apologize for taking your business elsewhere. So,
Yes.
Okay. So, before I go to the 39 starred comments, Deb, I just want to say a couple of things, and we are going to do a part 2. We're just going
I
to.
would have, yes, there's just too much information to
This
cover.
is so good. I think it's one of those things you have to know your limits. It is important for me to maintain confidentiality. When I'm
Yes,
doing readings online, that's different. If I'm
it is.
doing one-on-one readings, that's absolutely confidential. I'm not telling anybody else about it. And I actually tell people to take notes to help them remember things. And okay, it is important to put your personal opinions in check.
Yes.
Read the cards. They're not asking for your opinion, they're asking for what the cards say. That being said, there have been times when I've read for somebody and I've had similar experience to them. I've said, okay, this is not what the cards are saying. This is me talking. This has been my experience. Please disregard it, whatever.
Yes.
And I mean, and that can be a huge challenge. But life is messy, people. That's why
It
we
is.
that's why we pray. That's why we meditate. That's why we go out and walk. That's why we eat well, why we get some sleep. These are important things. It can be hard to learn, yes, but it's important to learn. Because as someone who I've had people who have read for me, and I'm like going, oh, this is more about you than it is me. Okay. And so, and Sheila said I don't do private readings, only on YouTube. Yeah. Go ahead.
I know of some readers that actually tell their ego to go sit down. There's a chair back there in the back of my head. Go sit over there and just stay over there. I'll call you if I need you.
Mm-hmm.
And that works for some people. It's like everything else. It's individual. Whatever works for you, that's what works.
And that's what's important. You need to know what you are willing to do, can do, skilled at doing. And trust me, it's frustrating when if I were to take a class for something, I'm going to, underwater basket weaving, and I've taken one class, then that does not make me an expert. What makes me an expert is doing years and years of that and taking and doing a lot of studying.
Yes.
So, I'm going to take a sip of water, or actually a sip of stuff. So I'm going to take a sip to get caught up.
That's a wonderful idea. Sip, everyone.
Sip, Deanne. Thank you. So let's look at all of the starred comments.
Okay.
Okay. Love that, Gerald. Some people think it's a definite answer, and they also don't consider free will of their own actions. Free will exists.
It
Deb
does.
and I were just talking about, we've all seen people who have asked the same question for multiple readers. I'm not calling anyone out, but how did you say it, Deb? Each time they've asked the question, go ahead.
If you ask 100 readers the same question, you will get 100 different answers, because every time you ask the question, it changes the energy. So we're reading energy. Mm-hmm. And it will, if it changes every time you ask the question, the answer will be different.
Yes.
Learn to trust. If you trust a reader, you trust them.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, just pay attention to that. So, okay. I always feel like if you're not ready for the answer, don't ask the question. Robin, that may work perfectly for you. It doesn't work perfectly for everyone. And the challenge with that is asking the right question, or the question that is going to be the most helpful.
Yes.
Because, you know, it's that idea of is so-and-so going to come back to me, is different than the what do I need to do to be comfortable where I am. You know, there's all sorts of options. So,
and there are certain, if we frame questions in certain ways, our guides may not answer it that way.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's the same thing is as if, you know, I'm just making this up. Oh, will I ever see so-and-so again? And what your intention is will I ever see this person in a romantic way, but you didn't say that? The answer may be yes, because you're going to see them walking down the hallway at work.
Yes.
So, Sheila Inquisitive Terror says, I always look for a positive outcome. I worry that people are taking it too literally. I understand that. One of the challenges is this is, what information do you tell somebody based upon the reading? Because sometimes it can be a very difficult message.
It can be.
Mm-hmm.
But they need to know that this is only a possible outcome.
Yes. And that's the thing. And I have actually done that. A lot of times I have said, this is a possible outcome. This is, and when I first started doing readings for people in real life, in, you know, face to face, I would say, do you know what tarot is? Have you ever had a reading before? Here's what it is. Here's how I use it. What do you do with it? It's completely up to you.
Yes.
You can completely disregard it. Peter said, Schrodinger's reading, our observing changes the outcome. Boom. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I see more people coming in. Thank you. People should realize that timelines can change in an instant due to many things. Yes.
Yes.
Jamie Wandering Mountain Bardic Path is here. Hello. Okay, I'm going to go back to see if I can get free will always plays a part in the outcome. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. And, you know, Sheila was talking about the appearance of impropriety, of how when I'm not behaving professionally, that matters.
It reflects on people's acceptance of your reading.
And if somebody had a really horrible experience with a tarot reader back in the 70s, I'm not picking on the 70s, and they always remember that, I want to be the kind of person who helps them think about tarot in a different way, or oracle readings in a different way.
So,
Spiritual Rain said, I've learned a lot about my own ethics in the last few years. It's humbling, and I have a lot of shadow work and healing to do. And Rain, the fact, you know, hashtag, you know, just Gerald, the fact that you're making the statement really demonstrates that you've done that, and you are doing it.
Yes.
I think that's really powerful. Part of being an empath allows access to people's secrets. Keep those secrets sacred, and you keep their trust. Yeah.
Many of us don't remember after a reading, don't remember what we said. And that is really kind of a protection for us, not to spread people's business.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. For the tarot reading, unethical behavior could be telling the querent they have a curse in order to get money.
Yes. Don't do
that, people.
Just don't.
Yeah. Maria, Lady Knight of Avalon, said, when it comes to behavior in the online world, we have to take into consideration the difference in culture all around the world. Things will vary from one country to the next, not much, but slightly. Maria, that's a good point. Thank you.
Yes. And we're speaking to people from everywhere. So
yeah. I think that's really very helpful. Thank you. And Robin said, is it necessary to lay out a disclaimer before doing a reading? I never do, and wonder whether folks have had any legit claims to sue if they don't like what they have to say. Well, actually, one of the things that I wrote down is there can be, let's see, where is it? Depends upon where you live. If you're doing predictive readings, that could actually have some legal impact. That's why for entertainment purposes only is there. So yeah, broaden your perspective. This is what I get for having so many good notes. But yeah, Robin, it can, which is why, if it's for entertainment purposes only. And I think sometimes, it's different than saying, telling somebody they should invest in this stock is different than, about how this is how they might want to think about it. So, Scott, having a safe space is key. Absolutely. Yeah, and Sheila has a disclaimer, don't do health, financial, legal readings. I can look for an outcome, but it's not something that can be taken literally, yeah. Lisa Rhodes asked, when you do a reading on here, isn't it hard to release information sometimes because you don't know if the person you're reading for wants that public? How do you go there? Go ahead.
If it's a public online reading, and I become privy to information that I believe the querent may not want broadcast, I just don't say it. I may indicate that they might want to look into something further with a private reader, but I am not going to air somebody's dirty laundry. That's not my job.
Yeah. Well, and it does go back to this, is how do you tell somebody when there's a challenging message that comes across? Well, for me, this is just Gerald. It's not endorsed by anybody else, for entertainment purposes only, for inspirational, educational purposes only. I try to slow down, and it's important to pay attention to the person with whom for whom I'm reading.
Yes.
And Sheila said they should not ask in a public forum, and private is best for that. I agree. I agree. And this is a good topic. It's such a good topic. And do ethics vary much between cultures? I mean, honestly, honesty is valued in every culture. I'm just wondering, I'll do some more reading. That's a great question. And I think it's a good question. So whenever I watch a live stream, it's a lesson, both tarot and philosophy, some science, psychology. It's very rewarding. Yes. Yeah, I emailed to see if it's okay to get private information. Mm-hmm. Querents look at you as their de facto. Yeah. I think it's a duty of the reader to pay attention to their words and cause no harm, because life is messy.
It is.
And like I said, people who are coming to a reading are already vulnerable. They're already struggling. Most of the time we go to a doctor, we go to a lawyer, we go to a financial advisor when something is wrong or it's not feeling right. So I think it's really so important for that. Okay. Just getting caught up in chat. Everybody take a sip. So speaking of ethics, Michelle Marie said, speaking of ethics, how many of you are continually trolled by social media accounts that copy your content and badger your followers for money? Fortunately not, but it happens, which is why people pay attention.
It does happen. I haven't had it happen to me. And I have accounts on other social platforms, but I don't do anything with those. So if someone approaches you and says they're me on a different platform, that's not me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't do it. Don't do it. And I'm just catching some people's their comments about sharing some of their bad experiences, and I am so glad you're here around me talking about ethics. So, Andrea said, or is it Andrea or Andrea? Andrea.
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 That's
Andrea
what I
Galvin
call
said, when one identifies himself as a leader in the psychic community, what are our responsibilities? Well, personally, behavior, the way you behave speaks louder than the words you speak.
Yeah.
So that's just Gerald. So I think
I
if you say
agree.
you're going to do something, you do it. Great. But, it's like, ooh, gross. So listen to me, ooh, gross. And again, by us saying we don't do certain types of readings, it's just what we're not comfortable with. You're comfortable with it. I am so glad. Good.
Yes.
Good.
So,
I've tried to do some different types of readings, and they're just weird. Go ahead.
I was just going to add that if a reader that you are looking at online doesn't, if it's not clicking with your personal ethics, scroll
Move
on, move
Yep.
on.
Yep.
And look for someone who's upfront. If you're looking for someone who does personal readings, if they say that up front, then So that could be one responsibility, is letting you know I do personal readings, and if you contact me, I will send you, everything you need to know, price list, all of that.
Yeah.
If I don't do personal readings, be upfront about that. Whatever it is that you do, be that online.
Exactly. Be that. Yeah. I think there's it's like who determines leadership? Hypnocity, that is, again, we don't have a governing body. However, if someone is an educator, they're promoting clear and ethical behavior that lines with you, then I would can absolutely consider that something. And yeah, I mean, nobody knows what determines the leadership, because we don't have really a governing body.
We don't, yes, we're not an organized group. We don't have like an overhead umbrella.
Again, there are different organizations that that will certify you in their reading style. That's wonderful. Do that. If that's what you need, do that. Honor that. So
I wanted to also say that this platform that we're on, YouTube, has no rules or regulations about what we do.
well, they
So,
do, but
well,
we're not
yes,
we're not we're not
but,
we're
but
not going
not
over those.
spiritually. But not spiritually.
Yes,
They
spiritually,
have
yes.
they have rules and regulations, but they don't have any spiritual kind of
Yeah.
anything. So someone who is just out to get your money can be on here and say anything.
Yep. Yep.
And what we have to do is judge for ourselves whether or not that person is legitimate, whether or not they're being honest with us. So we have to develop our own discernment.
Yeah.
If it feels wrong, then it's wrong for you, and you need to move on.
Yep. Yep. Okay, there's enough unethical behavior in the world and social media. We all have that much more responsibility to be ethical.
Yes.
And
we cannot, it's not up to us to stop somebody from being cheated. we cannot step in front of them and say, this person is a thief. We can't do it. It's we have to use our own personal discernment, and we
Yes.
may be interfering with their path. They may have a
Yes.
contract with that person to have this experience, and we cannot stop something that's contracted.
Yeah. And Sheila, Inquisitive Tarot, when I said, who determines the higher power or whatever, and Sheila said, for me, God. Great. So, Tatarina is here. Hello.
Tara Reyna. That's how you say her name. I asked, so. I can't hear you, Gerald. Are you muted? No. Am I the only one that can't hear him? Contracts can be renegotiated. So I still can't hear you. And I'm trying to find out it. No sound, Gerald. Okay. So, okay, fix it and I'll tap dance. Okay. So Gerald will be right back. Contracts can be renegotiated, but it's not, that's between the contractor and the contractee. It's not up to us to step in their contract. No tarot magisterium. No, there's not. No tarot pope. So I'm just going to scroll up a little bit and see Tarot Your Way, Thomas. I'm building my channel as an educational tool for viewers. I give them the book meanings of the cards. I'm not selling items, endorsing them, and not monetizing, as I'm disabled and can't earn money. And you're being upfront saying that. So that's.
Am I here? Am I back? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
I can hear you. Yay.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry. Maybe it was the universe telling me to shut up because we're at an hour. So, all right. What'd I miss?
Not a whole lot. Andrea had said that contracts can be renegotiated. And yes, they can, but that's between them.
Yes.
We can't block it. We can't be in the middle of it. Other than that, I just had read, it's really kind of Thomas's mission statement with the channel, Tarot Your Way.
Oh, that's good.
Go
ahead.
I just building my channel as an educational tool and giving them book meanings of cards, not selling anything, endorsing anything, and not monetizing.
Yeah.
So that's a clear mission statement.
Yeah. Robin asked, how does one handle a client who won't take no for an answer when you state that's not the type of question you're willing to address? This is something that is important. If you know what types of readings you do and your ethics, and you have clear boundaries, it's easy to say no, even in difficult situations.
Yes.
I've even, and I'm reading in books, and I know multiple people, and I saw somebody do it at a reading fair. The person who he was giving a reading, to whom he was giving a reading, was arguing with him and did not like the style that he was reading with. And so the reader gave the guy his money back and said, then I'm not the best reader for you. There's some really great readers here. So, go to them. And so say no. I mean, move them on and do that. So, okay. So I see more good chat.
Yes.
So, thank you. I am back. I appreciate everybody being here. Not everyone is predictive or psychic and don't all read the same way. I think It may be problematic when clients assume you have different abilities and methods than you do, which is why you need to have clarity about what you do. If somebody were to come to me for feng shui help, I'm not the one. If I know somebody who it does that, then I'm going to say, I know this person does that. I've never had a reading with them, or I've had a reading with this person. I enjoyed it. Here's their contact information. So,
Yes.
Okay. And I see Betsy is heading out to Mother Ocean. And so join us
Yes.
tomorrow. So I say that I'm sorry I'm not able to help, and whatever information has been shared up to that point will be helpful someday. Yeah. How do you handle bullying in chats? Well, let me tell you how you handle bullying in chats. You have moderators who know what's expected of them. And as a person who is a content creator, I'm going to get on my high horse, Deb.
Go ahead.
It's my job. It's my job to watch and to monitor the chat to make sure people feel comfortable.
Yes.
If people are bringing up stuff that's not comfortable or it's off topic, they need to be put in timeout. A moderator needs to put them in timeout. They need to be removed. I also need to say, that's not topic, that's not appropriate for here. You need to stop. And and then go from there.
And yes, so the content creator being aware of what's going on in chat is, I think, very helpful to that end. That moderators do a lot of good work, but it's very helpful if the bully can hear from the content creator that that's not acceptable.
Yeah. And I know I have very specific expectations. If you're a moderator for me, consider yourself lucky. I rotate moderators periodically. But and oftentimes I will say, okay, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. I saw Lisa Papez do something beautiful during the chat during a time when there was a lot of conflict going on in the world. And she had stated it early that we were going to be focusing on this topic and that all other conversation should not be on, all this conversation in chat should be about this. It started to go off, and Lisa, love her, said, okay, everybody, I need you to stay on this topic now. I know that's a lot, but not here for that discussion.
Yeah.
That's the other thing is when it comes to chat, it's like I want it's really good when the chat stays on the topic at hand, so anyhow.
And also it's understanding the energy behind what's going on, whether or not it's joking or mean-spirited. If it's mean-spirited, it should not be acceptable, period.
If it's mean-spirited, I would expect the mods to be pouncing on it.
Yes.
And yeah, sometimes discussion energy levels when yeah. And and here's the thing, it's just like in an email. You can't hear tone of voice in an email.
No.
So, okay. Deb, you holding up okay?
I'm good. Mm-hmm.
You're doing a great job of staying up on chat while I'm down to 19 starred comments.
Oh.
Maria, Lady Knight of Avalon, said the easiest thing here on YouTube for people who do readings here is to put a personal disclaimer in their about section to let everyone know what their boundaries are. So, and Medium Betsy Palmer said, when I have a client book an appointment, I always make sure to direct them to my website where they can understand my process. And I have an FAQ there too. That's good.
That's good.
So, that's good. What responsibility do people have with channels have to their audience? Well, it depends upon the type of channel it is.
It does. And it should be upfront. So it should be somewhere on there. If you investigate the channel, go to the about page, look at some of the videos. You can get a pretty good feel for that, what that person's persona is and whether or not it's the sort of thing you want.
Yep. Yes, and Jamie will,
She will.
will mod you. So
Absolutely.
yeah. And okay, ethics in readings and politics needs its own live. I'm not on my channel. You can do that. It's not what I do. Sheila said hers is honesty. I'm too honest. So okay, so okay, got that. Robin, I am scared to claim I am Claire something because I still can't hear them. It's probably clairaudient, but I can feel them emotional way. Okay. Carol Genealogy Junkie said, sometimes there's an undertone from the person, almost like pleading, as if we can make the cards say what they want to hear. That happens a lot. And to be honest with you, Carol, when that happens to me, I'm really upfront. I try to be authentic, and I will say, you know what? I know this isn't what you want to hear, and it's hard. And then I stop talking and let the person catch up.
Yes.
And that's a nuance. And Deb, I know you do that, but you do it in a slightly different way. You do it in the Deb way.
I'm really good at tap dancing and spinning. And I will try to break it to you as gently as I can. I'm not going to change the message, but I will try to give it to you in a way that you can hear it.
Boom. Oh, I got you, Scott. I got you now. Okay. Yes, politics and being ethical. Yeah. Oh, here, wait a minute. Yeah, right. I hear you. My cards say what they say. You can't make an outcome. Yes. Tact. Yes. And I think it is one of those things. It's so important that we connect. It can be a challenge to connect through YouTube doing readings like this.
Yes.
It's so hard. It's so challenging. Okay. Christian Louise said, readers are divine presence, therapists, pastors, and more for a lot of people. That's a lot of pressure. And I'm glad you said that, because it's something that we all need to be aware of.
Yes.
That's sometimes what people expect from readers. And I think it's important to know when to refer someone to those other resources. And so I think that's a really key thing.
And anyone who puts their face on a public platform, people think they know us. And they think that because they think they know us, that they can sometimes take liberties or take what you say as, written in stone, actual fact. So, we try to be as honest, and as most of us try to be as honest as we can with who we are, so that you know what you're getting.
Yeah. Be kind and have understanding for them. Definitely direct them to the right resources, because, as I said, I like to be inclusive in the readings.
Yes.
So I think it's, parasocial relationship.
That's exactly what it is. It's, it used to be that people would get that sort of involvement with like movie stars or celebrities.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And now everyone has their face in public all the time.
Yeah.
So
yeah. All right. Lessons can be learned or had everywhere if we're open enough. And yes, and I also learn a lot from watching other readers.
Yes, I do too.
Yeah, I like watching other people handle the chat, and I incorporate it into, I make it me. Also, I watch what other people are doing, and I'm like, ooh, I'm not, that's not me. That's not something that I would do.
Yes. Or that's not something I can do, you know?
Yes, yes, yeah. So, yeah, it's true. Public persona is like being starstruck at times, I think. Yeah,
Mhm.
yep, yeah, that's good. See, Deb, you're wonderful here.
I
I feel
appreciate
as
it.
oh well, I'm glad you're here. I mean, this is your fault. I mean, I'm sorry. This was your inspiration that gave me
Yes, it
this.
was.
I feel as I know I need to read. I have been a medium and it helps me express myself and I'm able to help people. I don't want to be famous. I love helping people. That's so good. That's so good. Um, got that. An entire chat go into higher low vibration in an instant. If there is there a responsibility on part of the people with chats? Which responsibility do owners have for the health of a given chat? It's primarily mine as I'm hosting this, which is why this is a respectful conversation about ethics of reading, and to keep everything on point.
And I will
So
tell you that I know Gerald well enough to know that if there was anything going on in an inappropriate way in chat, he would shut it down right now.
I would, and it's that. Yes, thank you, Deb. And you would also know that I was talking to, and it's like
Yes,
ooh, so it's like boom. So you'll know it's that mom voice, or it's that oh God, hang on, it's that manager voice that comes across,
yes,
that manager
it
voice.
is.
So
Or with me, it's the mother voice.
ooh, true. How does empathy play into readings with regards to vulnerability of clients? How do you handle not absorbing too much of the client's pain? Such a good question, Rain.
It
Such a good
is.
question. Um, I, I do. I actually I cleanse my space before I do readings. If I'm using a tarot deck, I'm shuffling it to clean off the energy. So there's a lot that I do. What do you do, Deb?
I do, I talk to my guides constantly. I have
Hmm.
an ongoing conversation the entire time.
Yeah.
And I'm, I, I cleanse my space prior to anything. I make
Hmm.
a sacred, safe space. And then when I'm finished, then I have kind of a reverse thing that I
Yeah.
do. And
It, it's part of the hygiene, the psychic hygiene, which
it
we've
is
talked about.
because we
So
can't carry everybody's pain. We
yeah,
just can't.
and it
We
is.
wouldn't be sane.
Yeah, it's the same idea, Deb, as knowing how to keep your personal opinions in check. It's what is mine and what is theirs.
So if you
So
are an empath, it becomes a little more difficult. You have to be a little more, I don't want to say obsessive, but a little more aware that you're carrying other people's issues. And so it could be as simple as taking like a ritual bath when you get
yeah,
finished.
yeah, very true, very true. Ron is here. Unconditional love. Hello, and Teresa. I saw a few other people. So um, and Robin said it's also helpful to know the difference between healthy debate and argumentative stance
Yes.
as it comes to chat. Yes, yes. Um, so
A healthy debate allows for um, changing your opinion if that's something you need to do.
well, isn't that true? I mean, we evolve. It's the same thing with ethics. Our ethics
Yes.
evolve as we do. Sheila
Yes.
said, I feel responsible for what goes on my channel.
Yes.
You
I
know.
think most of us do feel responsible for what goes on.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Sheila's like, and if I see something, I will totally handle it. So, and all right. And so chat just jumped. So I appreciate everybody for being here. This has been a wonderful conversation.
Yeah.
Just the start. I
Scratch the
think,
surface.
oh my gosh, yes. And everybody in the chat, you have been wonderful. Thank you. I mean, seriously. And I'm glad you're here. You're asking such good questions and sharing a lot of yourself in the chat. And I hope this helps to support you as you consider what your ethics are if you do readings.
Yes. And you don't have to accept, if you're watching someone who you view as having unacceptable ethics, turn them off.
Oh yeah. I mean, and here's what I would say. It's just me. Just leave the chat and don't
Yes.
leave a comment that you don't
Yes.
like this person and the way they're reading.
Don't add to the energy.
Yeah. I mean, and I hope more people have, think about this. If you have a conversation about this on your channel, let me know. I think this is extremely helpful. Again, there are such good resources out there to help you. And you need to know you and how you are. I mean, it goes back to that idea of being an empath. And if you're not in a place mentally or emotionally or spiritually to be able to do readings for people, then don't do readings for people.
Don't. Then just read for yourself if that's what you want to do. Figure out what it is that you want to convey, the face that you want to put on it,
Yes.
how to be yourself. Figure that out.
Yes. I mean, that's so true. That's so true. Okay. Getting caught up in chat so that we can let these people go on and like and subscribe. Tune in to us later because we're going to be doing another one. We're going to get it scheduled. And so, okay. Some people are otherwise good people, but they just don't have their reading ethics. And that's okay. Yes, it is.
It is okay.
Yes, it is. It is.
It's okay to let other people be who they are.
Yeah. I mean, because I can only do me, and I do me okay. I try to be as authentic as I can. So Mary Thornberry said, I admire the work you all do. I have had the same tarot deck for over 30 years, and I'm pretty good at reading them, but I have no desire to read for other people on YouTube. That's just me. And Mary, 30 years, that's great. I want to know what deck.
Here's the thing, too. Whatever you're called to do that.
Ooh, yes. I think it's the newbies just coming to the forum that we need. We want to keep an eye on the newbies, and I think, again, do we share with other people? Do we explain why we're doing things? I think that's a really important thing. So
it is. And whatever you're doing, let your light shine that way.
Yes. Yep. Clear intentions and know that you are enough. Amen.
Yes.
Great topic. Mini series. Well, we're going to do at least one more. We could probably have, yeah, I love it. At least. There you go, Jackie. Thank you. Never ask questions. Oh, I never ask questions. I figured that of over 300 tarot cards, and I will read for myself. There you go. But sometimes, Sheila, if you want to come on and we can do readings, and I can do a reading for you, and then we can turn it into a Tarot the Stash way about how I have read these cards and how you do. No pressure. None.
Tara Rayna has a good point. Yes.
Setting your space by invoking spiritual helpers of the highest and best for protection and to transmute the toxic situations. Ooh, yeah.
And it's always helpful to frame whatever you're speaking into the universe in a positive light. If you mention negative, the universe is going to say, "Oh."
Okay. And This is why I like Sheila. She's going, nope. She's like, not on myself. I'll come on, but let's do something else. Okay. So, and I think it's one of these things that this has been such a good conversation. I've got lots of I've got lots to think about. I mean, it's like, holy crap. I mean, Deb, what do you know? I mean, are you getting monkey?
He's looking at me like he wants to come up here. Come here, baby.
So, and
there he is.
hi, Monkey. Monkey was here at the beginning, and Monkey's here at the end. So,
and he took a nap in between.
Aw, that's good. So, if you're watching this back, please leave a comment about if there is a topic about ethics or a question that you have, and maybe Deb and I can answer it the next time.
Or at least open the conversation about it.
Open the conversation about it, yes. Oh, and Sheila said, my cards kicked my butt. I get the truth from them. Yeah. So, yep. Very precious. Monkey's always welcome. So, but Deb, what do you have coming up on your channel?
On my channel, I don't have anything scheduled until next Tuesday. I'll be with Thayer, and we'll be doing mediumship. Friday, I am going to be a guest on the Crone Zone Conversations with the Ancients. We haven't nailed down exactly what we're going to be talking about yet, but I'm sure it will be interesting, whatever it is.
Yeah, cool. I am with Jane the Seeker tomorrow for Tuesdays with Tarot Stash in the morning. And then Medium Betsy Palmer's with me for readings tomorrow. Cool. And then we'll just say it this way. People like and subscribe to my channel, because then you'll hear about things like Long Stash readings on Monday, and that I'm on Lady Night of Avalon on Sunday. And then there's more stuff coming.
The world tour continues.
The world tour continues. It's perfect. And somebody said something. Thinking and talking and meditation around. Is that okay?
For developing your own ethical code.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's like for the win. Holy crap. You're welcome, Donna. Thank you. And Sheila said, when I read for myself, they don't beat around the bush. Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. Our gut and third eye guides us. Yes. This was absolutely the best discussion. Thank you all very much. You're welcome. And that, yep, that's right. Yep. You were right, Deb. You're right, Deb.
Sometimes.
I'm on the tarot go round. So, but all right. Wow. Okay, so we've got a lot of other things that we could cover. So, and Pia said, YouTube made this wonderful. As a newbie myself, I appreciate all I can learn. Well, I'm glad you're learning from us. And part of that learning is what you will and will not do.
And remember that whatever you learn, let it go forward. Teach whatever you learn. Yes.
So, all right, everybody. Thank you so very much. We're going to say goodbye, and we're going to see you all the next time. Bye.